Hey guys, and welcome to another First Impressions video. Today we're looking at the Frost First Ones. This is an RPG, and I think this is the prologue version. The full version should come out tomorrow on the 31st of August. It's certainly an interesting concept for a game, although at the same time I'm not really sure what the backstory is. It kind of just drops you in the middle of this scenario and you have to go and explore. It's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination, but there are a few things that I would like changed. So we'll look at the options and then we'll get into the game and I'll explain what it is that I like about this game and what it is I don't like about this game. And there are plenty of things that can be changed pretty easily, I'd imagine. Some things that might not be so easy. But the options. First off, if you are playing with a controller, it doesn't let you use your mouse and keyboard, and if you use your mouse and keyboard, it won't let you use your controller. You can't free switch between the two. The next problem is that your right thumbstick is your move the cursor around, not the left one. And that's a bit weird. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that. But anyway, your options. You've got your pixel scale, which just says lowest FPS or highest FPS if you go 1, 2 or 4, but I don't actually know what that means. Like, I'm assuming if it's lowest FPS it's going to be the highest quality, but it's very much a pixelated game. You've got your volumes and that's your lot. That is your lot for your options. You do have a controller scheme which you can look at. So you can use WASD to move, space to jump, and then use and interact with your mouse. Or you can use your controller, which I'm using right now. Like I say, it would be nice if your cursor on the game was used by your left thumbstick, and I will get into what else would be nice about the controls in just a second. Next thing about the game is that it doesn't actually have a title screen. It loads you straight into the game, and the only reason why I've got the title screen up like this is because I've paused the game. But as you can see in the background, each time I press A or, you know, right click on anything, it carries on the text speak. So it's not an independent pause screen as such. Like, the game is constantly on and doing its thing, which means you've got to be careful if you are in combat situation or in a situation where you might need to actually pay attention. You can't just pause the game because you will probably die a horrible death. That being said, let's get into it. So you're an RPG, you play this guy, this Barrett guy who's a hunter in the woods where it's always snowing apparently. You do get your objectives in the top left hand corner, but one thing that I've got a real issue with is the text. It's a white background and they've decided to go with white text. Now, there is a shadow to this text, but it is incredibly difficult to read for myself, and I'd imagine others with some color differentiation problems. If that's the right word. Basically, I mean colorblind. And the other problem I've got is that the cursor on the screen honestly isn't needed. Most RPGs, you would just use your character to go next to and or look at what you want to inspect. Whereas this, you have to walk up to it and then move the cursor over it in order to get it to interact and do what you want to do. And it feels very disjointed and disconnected. Like, I don't know. It just feels like if I was to walk up to something, I should just be able to press the button to interact. Whereas I've got to keep an eye on the cursor as well, which again, can get lost, can get very hard to see because it's white on white. Different colours if you're going to use the... Please. Give them a background or make them bigger or just something. It's kind of stopping my enjoyment of the game a little bit, which is a shame because the game itself is quite cute. It's very quaint. The writing's not amazing. It's not the best written game in the world, but you can kind of get the idea of what they're trying to say. Like, it seems very much a non English native speaker or writer of the story, which is fine. Like it's broken English, but it's good enough to read. And I don't know if there is language options. I don't think there is. No, there isn't. So you don't have any language options either. The movement's pretty simple. You can jump, and that's your lot. You can zoom in, although zooming doesn't really do a lot. And then you've got your interact. I haven't gone into any combat yet. I haven't found any combat. And I don't know if there is any combat in this game or whether it's just a story that you kind of discover as you go around. There does seem to be a fair amount of invisible walls. So the game will not let you do anything that you shouldn't do yet. And that's fine to a degree. Like, it's very linear in that in that respect, but at the same time, again, with the text on text and color on color, you have to hover over the blood trace and it comes up with like a little fist, but I didn't know that to begin with, and it was very hard to see as well. So without a huge amount of direction, and with it being very hard to tell when there's something here that you should be looking at, it can be very difficult to work out what it is you're actually supposed to do. Now, I don't know if this brown bear is going to kill me. It's going to kill me. I'm going to die. I'm injured. I think that's game over. Cool. Fantastic. Yep. Awesome. No warning. Just restarts you at the last part. I want another good RPG, and unfortunately I don't think this is it. Like, I can see what they've done. I like the idea behind it, but they've made it so difficult on your eyes, especially if you're colorblind, to make this game enjoyable, because it's giving me a headache looking at it and having to squint at the screen to try and differentiate what I need to figure out in order to see what it is I'm supposed to be doing. And it doesn't have like a tutorial per se. So I don't know exactly what it is I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just kind of wandering aimlessly around and seeing this weird story kind of unfold. I say this a lot with the games that I cover, but it's got a lot of potential. Like, I could see this game being really fun and the story being really, really good and it gripping me, but so many of the quality of life things that should be in, and so many things that seem to have been overlooked and just made unnecessarily difficult to sort of figure out and do. And I don't know, it seems like it's been made more difficult on purpose for no apparent reason. So apparently we got away from the sleeping bear because we ran down the cliff. Go us. The game does give you a lot of achievements though for doing pretty much anything, which is kind of nice. It's very gratifying. But now again, like, I'm here, I've got to look around and get back on the trail of Hendrik, who is the man that's gone away. Is it worth your time? I don't know. It depends what you're looking for in an RPG. It depends what you're looking for in a story. It depends whether you like this style of movement where you've got a cursor that you've got to move around in order to actually be able to interact with stuff or not. For me, personally, it's a no. Like, I like it. I like the design of it. I like the quaintness of it. But the lack of quality of life updates that should really be in it, the lack of options, the lack of anything that could give me a bit of an easier time so I could actually enjoy the story more, means that the game really isn't up to par for me myself. But that's a very subjective thing. The game as a game runs very, very well. It's very smooth. But then again, it's like an 8-bit or a 16-bit style. It's very pixelated. There's not a lot for it to run, so I'd be a bit concerned if it didn't. The writing could do with a little bit of touching up. The broken English is not ideal. The music and the soundtrack's very nice. But again, it comes down to playability, and unfortunately for myself and others who are colorblind and have sight issues, it's not ideal, because I struggle to read the text, I struggle to see my cursor sometimes, I struggle to see where it is I'm supposed to go, and it makes it very difficult for me to play. Accessibility options need to be in a game. Accessibility should be at the forefront of most games. And unfortunately, the lack of accessibility and the lack of quality of life means that this game is probably going to be a no from me. However, if you like this content, feel free to leave a thumbs up. If you have any thoughts or opinions that you want to share on the game yourself, please leave them in the comments down below. I know that developers do watch my videos and they do comment on them regularly, so if you've got any concerns or any other thoughts, please do put them in the comments down below. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. We are 20 away from 800. This month has been absolutely incredible. And just thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all next time. Ciao, ciao.